Welcome back to Aha Moments. We are back at Pasadena Fundamental, and in this episode, we explore the power of job-embedded professional learning through strategy walks. These walks give teachers the chance to observe, reflect, and apply the high-yield strategies you heard about earlier. You'll hear from educators and leaders who've experienced this process firsthand and see how peer-to-peer learning is shaping instruction across our schools. We are here with the third grade team from Pasadena Fundamental. We have Jessica O'Brien, welcome. Hi. And we have Angela Johnson.
Hi.
Thank you guys for coming back. I really appreciate this. Today we're going to talk about strategy walks. So in addition to coming to Pasadena and running some trainings, you guys have taken the initiative to bring strategy walks to your class. So can you start off by telling us what strategy you brought that you showcased?
I did collaboration mats in my classroom.
Excellent. Angela, what did you do?
I did collaboration mats and the academic discourse stems.
Okay, so can you explain just briefly what happened with the strategy walks?
Yeah, we've done them twice now. So the first time we scheduled it where different teachers could visit, it wasn't aligned by grade level, but we had the opportunity to go into other classrooms. A few teachers from each grade level volunteered to be on display and demonstrate one of the strategies. So teachers would come in, they each had a feedback form where they would look for certain strategies, have an opportunity to reflect on what they saw while the teacher was modeling. They were in for maybe 5 minutes and checked in with each of the kids just to see how it worked in their classrooms.
Fantastic. All right, so Jessica, as a teacher, how did it feel having your colleagues come in to your class where you were teaching?
It was nerve-wracking, honestly. So we have 20 students in our classroom, and just having the grade below me or the grade above me come in and just see how I'm teaching and how my students are doing that day. It was nervous, but also being a teacher that got to do it, it was awesome. Like, you got to see what other students are doing in classrooms and how their strategies align to what you're teaching and how the teachers are teaching it and how students are engaged and if they like it or something that you can bring back to your classroom and tweak.
So can you tell me a little bit more about when you walked other teachers' classrooms? Like, what did you see? How was that beneficial?
We walked into 2 different second grade classrooms. One second grade classroom was doing collaboration mats. She used her mats differently than I did in mine. So she had her group set up in 6, and it was for a test review. Okay. And so all of my students were doing a different problem at the same time, and all of her students were doing the same problem. And she was able to kind of like walk around and see, oh, these students got it, or oh, I need to go back and revisit that lesson or that question to be able to prepare them better for the test. It was nice because it was an easy, like, informal observation that she was able to do with her students, and it was quick, and all the students were engaged. No one was sitting idle. Everyone was able to show their work, and then they had conversations with each other. Yeah. Another thing that we saw was inside-outside circles in second grade, and the other teacher used it for phonics. So she would call out a word, and then the students would spell the word, and then they would have their conversation with their partner if they agreed or disagreed based on their spelling in second grade. And some of their conversations were funny. You'd be like, I agree with you because it has 2 E's, or I disagree because there's a D in there. And for second grade, like, that was the reasoning. And so it was just really funny to watch. But it was awesome to get new ideas on how to use these strategies in my own classroom.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love the elevating a test review with the collaboration mats is one of my favorite things because you get everybody engaged. Yes. And I would have loved to have seen that inside-outside circle with the second graders. I think that's fantastic. Angela, when you were showcasing for the strategy walks, you said you used the accountable talk stems. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I only used them once before.
Okay.
So the lists were pretty brief, but I gave my students a topic to discuss. I found that my students were sometimes struggling to communicate with each other. You know, when I think of small group, it's sometimes difficult. There might be arguments or disagreements, but it gave students a really clear way to express their agreement or disagreement with, I guess, more of a polite manner. And so they did a wonderful job of talking with each other, and I feel like it gave some of my students who are, again, hesitant to speak, opportunities in a way to communicate their thinking.
So if this was just the second time you have done this, when you were showcasing it for other teachers, which stems were you working on with your students?
They were stems for agreeing, disagreeing, or I think asking them to extend their thinking.
Oh, okay. Can either of you speak to how the feedback you received from your colleagues impacted you?
I had each teacher that went into the other classrooms, we all wrote thank you notes or little positive notes for each other. So I think it was just a nice treat for everybody. I think it's difficult to go out of your comfort zone, but I think the notes that we wrote just built our school community. I think it made us closer as teachers, and whether we were thanking for allowing us into the classroom or an idea, I think it just created such a deep connection between teachers and
like a safe, positive culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was uplifting too. Like, you got to read other teachers' opinions of how your lesson went or how your classroom was or different ideas. So it was nice to see, others appreciate what you're doing. And just bring that positivity back to our school. I think that was amazing.
That's fantastic. Do either of you have advice or a takeaway from the strategy walks that you want to share?
I think my takeaway from the strategy walks is it's probably like my favorite PLC to do in the month at this point. I look forward to it. I look forward to going into someone else's classroom and seeing how, as we're all stressed and doing different things and trying to hit all of the standards and the benchmarks and keeping up with all of the pacing, we also are all doing the same stuff. And, our days are hard, but we get to see each other in a different light and bring those different perspectives to our own classroom, or just appreciate the things that each other is doing.
That's fantastic.
I think that the strategy that you're viewing, it's nice to see whatever strategy it is, but I think the great thing is that there are little tidbits that we can all take away from visiting other people's classrooms, whether it's they have this little phrase they use with their kids or this poster on the wall. We all have such amazing things we do, and so rarely have the opportunity to share it with each other. So I think going into a classroom and getting whatever you can out of it is just so valuable.
I learned so much when I became a coach, because I was walking classrooms so often. And so to kind of build that into your day, I think is very powerful.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you
for sharing your story. Okay, we are back with 4th grade teacher Rosie Sauer.
Hello.
And 5th grade teacher Christina McCartney.
Hey.
And we are here to talk about strategy walks. So you guys both participated in your school's strategy walks and you showcased a certain strategy. Christina, can we start with you? And can you tell us what you showcased? What strategy?
I showcased collaboration mats during the strategy walk.
Excellent.
I also did collaboration mats, and I did it with an open-ended math task where I showed them a place value picture and asked if they could represent that number in different ways.
How did it feel having other teachers walking through your room as you were teaching?
I think when we first started all of this, everyone, of course, naturally felt a little intimidated, but we are such an incredible family at our school that we've all taken this as an opportunity to learn and grow from each other. So having other teachers in my room has felt really joyful and exciting for me. And we're all working very hard behind the closed doors. So welcoming people in to share this magic happening, I think, has been incredible.
That's fantastic. How was it having teachers walking through your room?
I love having teachers come in my classroom. I love showcasing what my students are doing because I think they're phenomenal. And I think my kids are always doing some amazing work. And so I like that the other teachers are able to see what the kids are able to do and that they are able to raise the rigor in the classroom, and the kids can do that.
Yeah. So you guys also walked other teachers' classrooms. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience walking?
I really enjoy going in other classrooms. I feel like as a teacher, we often go to trainings or professional development, and sitting behind a table taking notes is one way, but I feel like we learn so much more when we are actually watching the professional development happen right in front of our eyes by colleagues right at our school with our students. and just being able to see the positive things that are happening in other classrooms.
That's great. And what room did you walk? What class?
I actually walked in Miss Sauer's room, and it was amazing to see the place value going on with her collaboration mats. The kids were actively engaged. They knew what they were doing. They were quietly working with their task, and then they were communicating using accountable talk with their partners and their groups as they were working on place value. It was phenomenal.
That's excellent. So you teach ELA, you don't teach math, but did you see anything that in her room that you could bring back to your own?
Her room is beautiful, first of all, just neat, organized, and just kind of the way she had her groups planned out ahead of time.
Okay.
According to color. And did you have a shape that day also, maybe? Or
I think I was using their colored dots on their nameplates.
Yeah.
That
So
day.
she had a very organized, quick way to transition into the collaboration mats.
Okay.
And I really liked the organization with that.
So can you say a little more about that?
Yes, I group my students in a bunch of different ways just to keep the groups flexible and keep them on their toes, working with different people, talking to different people. And one of the ways I do that is I have a colored sticker on their nameplate. So that day I did that. Sometimes I do odd numbers, even, numbers 1 through 5, all these different ways. But having it quick and ready and planned ahead of time is definitely key for them.
That's a good little quick tip.
Yes.
So can you tell me about your experience of walking other teachers' rooms?
I have been very blessed. I've gotten to go into kindergarten rooms, 5th grade rooms. I was able to see Mrs. McCartney's lesson in ELA, which was amazing. And one of the really beneficial things that I learned from Mrs. McCartney is that she had some really great supports on her board because they were engaged in a really complex task. And so they were using their materials, they had their stuff out they were referring to, which was amazing to see them in action with that. But when kids had questions, she was able to direct them up to the board and had it up there. So she wasn't taking too much time with one particular group, and she kept monitoring and moving around very actively. So that was I learned that from you.
Thank you.
That's great. How did you feel about getting the feedback from your colleagues?
I think having an administrator who is really focused on bringing all of the positive things that we are doing at our school forward has been incredibly valuable for everybody. Being acknowledged for all of the work that we are doing is very valuable for us. Everybody thrives and really grows from feedback, and having that positive energy, the positive feedback, the positive culture has been very magical for us here.
That's great. Would you like to add on to that?
I agree. I think as teachers, we get kind of stuck in our silos, and we work in our classroom, and we work really hard day in and day out, whether it's here at school or at home. And oftentimes other teachers, other people don't get to see the great work that we do. And so sometimes we're not feeling like we're valued enough. And so when you have the people coming in your classrooms and providing you with that feedback, you really start to feel like you're valued as a teacher on your campus, and that what you're doing really does matter.
Excellent. Do you guys have any other takeaways or advice for schools that may be kind of on the front end of implementing strategy walks?
One of the things that I think it's all very valuable, but one of the great strategies that we've been using here is after we leave each classroom, we pull together as a little group and we talk about the positive strategies that we noticed in their classroom. So not only are we seeing it, we're observing it, we're taking notes, but then we're also debriefing immediately and capturing the really positive things from that experience. And then we are also writing, we each wrote handwritten notes to each of the teachers that we visited and left them in their boxes or on their desks. And they were like little presents. So that, I think if you were to implement this at your campus, bringing in that, keeping the community piece forward and making sure it's a positive experience for everybody. Like everybody should be leaving that experience with something positive that they did, Yeah. And having the handwritten notes was everything.
I think if somebody was going to implement at their school, don't make it extra. Our principal has made and incorporated this into our PLC time, and so it's not something that feels like it's extra. It is part of what we're required to do on the weekly, so this just becomes once a month or once every other month of something that we're doing that is part of what we're already doing, so it's not extra.
That's great. That is a great piece of advice. Well, thank you guys very much for implementing and bringing strategy walks to life here at Pasadena and sharing your aha moments.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we are back with kindergarten teacher Courtney Gomes.
Hello.
And our first grade teacher Angela Berletic.
Hey again.
And we're going to talk about strategy walks. So you guys were participated in 2 strategy walks now here at Pasadena Fundamental. Can somebody tell me what strategy you chose to showcase? Angela?
Sure. So I showcased the collaborative mats, and it was a little daunting to have my peers come in. Normally, I love welcoming people in my classroom, but because it was a brand new strategy that I had not practiced.
This
before.
was the first time.
Yes. So they really saw like the very rawness of it, and it didn't go amazing. I mean, there was some really great things that happened, and my kids were collaborating, and like there were some really cool parts, but there were some parts that I was like, oof, okay, I need to tweak those things. But it was authentic.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really cool about these walks is like, we're not putting on a dog and pony show. Like everybody is really seeing real teaching. And I loved getting the feedback from my peers. That was really cool.
Yes, I agree. I also did collaboration mats, and I did it with math. And it was... we had kind of practiced with a number, like I just chose a number and they had to write whatever they knew about that number, but a real quick practice. So this was my first real time too, and especially having peers come in and watching and observing. But the students really, they were engaged, and they did what they were supposed to do. I mean, they, participated, and they said they wrote what they were thinking, and then they got to share with each other.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience.
So what's one takeaway from doing the strategy walks and how it's been embedded here at Pasadena, like it's a regular part of your work? So what's sort of your takeaway from that?
I think it's just, trying something new, and, you get in these routines and you just do the same thing over and over. And now I'm like, oh, how can I use this in U-Fly? Because U-Fly is like, oh, we're doing U-Fly.
Right.
And you try and make it fun, but this is a way. I mean, I was literally thinking like, how can I maybe I can do a collaboration map with, the letter L or something, just they can write words that start with L or end with L so it makes you think outside the box.
Yeah.
So.
That's
Absolutely.
great.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think it really does. I think it also helps you like open your mind and like your classroom, like figuratively and literally, like, you open your classroom to your colleagues, and there's this culture here now where like we can not be afraid to see each other teach, and kind of our guard is down because we've done this work.
Yes.
And so
it doesn't have to be perfect.
No,
Right,
and one of mine wasn't.
Right.
And but it still was awesome because the kids were still doing the task. But I think it's been really powerful here, and I think it's helped us all grow and inspire each other, which is what teaching is all about.
It is. That is exactly what it's all about. Okay, thank you. Well, I think we'll leave that here. I really appreciate you guys sharing your stories and the impact that strategy walks have had.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. All right, welcome. We are joined right now with Principal Atik, principal of Pasadena Fundamental.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And we have Angela Johnson back with us, third grade teacher here. Let's start off our discussion on strategy walks with you, Principal Atik. How do strategy walks align to your school SIP goals or your instructional priorities?
We get better by learning from each other.
Absolutely.
And so the strategy walks has allowed our school, Pasadena, to observe best practices, learn new. First of all, let's start off, learn new practices, and then feel comfortable enough to teach those practices to others, and others feeling comfortable to welcome staff into their classrooms and to critique what they see or what they do not see. And so going back to the question about school improvement comes when we open ourselves to learning new ways of work.
We've been talking to teachers here about the impact of these instructional strategies and the impact of the strategy walks on their practice, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. And you personally have been credited a lot with the way that you have sort of designed and set this up to be part of what they do, not like in addition
Right.
to what the teachers do. So I was wondering if maybe you could speak a little bit to that. So I've come out and done some micro professional learning during PLCs, and we've had Angela, which I would like to tell us a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of scheduling strategy walks in just a moment. But it's kind of this whole piece. It's like a big plan that you've kind of set up.
The strategies that are being presented for our team really do feature and focus on those areas.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've heard your teachers talk about, is engaging all of the students and making it safe for everyone to engage.
We've got to continue to change as technologies emerge, as student attention span. We've got to basically emerge with that, and so these strategies allow us to do that.
Yeah.
They don't sit still too long. They don't.
Yeah, the movement is key. So let's get a little nitty gritty. And Angela, you were sort of tasked, or you were given the role to kind of organize and schedule these strategy walks. So can you talk a little bit about your process there?
Yeah, I am really big on organization, so it's kind of a fun little project for me. But I look at our master schedule, and I make a schedule for each grade level, look at when they have different subject areas and when their plannings, lunches are, so that we can push in other teachers when they're available. So the first time that we did it, we just kind of fit people in where they could. But this last time, teachers requested that they had a grade level above or below them.
Okay.
So it was a little bit trickier this last time, but we were pretty purposeful in how we organized the schedules and allowed teachers to go in. But it was a little tricky, but it worked.
And each of the teachers, they have a kind similar to what an ISM visit might look like, a little check sheet, and on the check sheet it's look fors, and we've tried to include the discourse strategies each time that we've had a different professional development that you've led, Robin. We've taken those discourse strategies, listed it on a check sheet form of look fors, and so we discuss those. As soon as we exit the classroom, we then review what we saw, what we liked. We leave the teachers a little note, let them know what we liked.
They all really appreciated that.
And it's a safe place. That's the best part about it. It's a safe place.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what's the plan as you move into second semester?
So a lot of the work that I'm doing right now supports my school at USF. I'm in my practicum for my ed leadership degree. So as we go through the next semester, we'll continue with our strategy walks, and then I'm going to be looking into how the data supports what we've been doing and just analyzing, the growth our students have made.
That's fantastic. All right, Principal Atik, what kind of advice would you give to other school leaders who want to try to get this going and have the impact that this is having at Pasadena?
I believe that we should practice what we preach. And if we ask our classroom teachers to employ best new innovative strategies, then we have to model those strategies and be part of the modeling of those strategies. It's easy to read a book. It's easy to watch a video. It's easy for someone to come and visit and talk to us about what something looks like. But it is best when we all practice it together, and that and so I would say any leader, any building leader, be part of it, and allow your teachers to be lead teachers and learn from each other.
I love that. So being present in the work, being
Sure.
part of the work, you brought the PD, which kind of level sets them with some new strategies to try, releasing to some of your teacher leaders some of the tasks where they can show off, and then developing this positive, safe
Robin,
culture.
I'll tell you the truth. I'm coming in as a first-year principal here. you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what good practices are already here. You don't know. You don't know what you don't know. What I do know is that there is not one warehouse of good ideas. That we so many times want to send teachers for professional development to another school, or let's go bring in a special speaker to talk to. That expertise might be in your own building.
Absolutely.
And quite honestly, it is. And so you've got to have an opportunity. You've got to, and that's what Angela's helped us do, is to have that venue for us to be able to go visit those locations and see what's going on, and make each other's rooms accessible to each other to see where those exemplar teaching practices are.
Yeah, very well said. Yeah. Any last thoughts or aha moments around the strategy walks?
No, I'm looking forward to next semester. I think one of them is monitoring.
Yes, it's coming up next.
That's the one I'm looking forward to.
I think in my experience, it's just been very inspiring. I think teachers, we all have, I guess, goals getting into teaching of what we enjoy and what we like to do, but it can get difficult. So I think being open to learning really gives such opportunity to reignite your passion. And I mean, we all have the goal of teaching our kids. So not only that, but we're creating such a positive culture within our school. I feel like it's just amazing.
And that is the one takeaway we've heard over and over again during our time here at Pasadena, is the positive culture that you guys have helped develop and set. So thank you so much.
That is wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
And we will talk again soon. That's a wrap on today's episode of Aha Moments. A huge thank you to Pasadena Fundamental for opening their doors and sharing their journey with us. Your commitment to collaboration and growth is inspiring. Stay tuned for more episodes where we uncover strategies that make learning stick. Until next time, let's keep creating those aha moments.